finds the result. So I don't think there is any specialty has been added to Titli because of YRF and DBP. Kanu would have made the same film under any circumstances. I think the fact that someone like YRF and someone like DBP, who nobody could have imagined, could have collaborated together, a bit like Imran Hashmi and Abhay Deol acting in a film, which they did. So I think that's the happy coincidence. Not a coincidence, that's a happy thing, and I'm proud of bringing that about along with YRF, because DBP probably knows a bit about making a film like Titli while preserving. But DBP really doesn't know how to call all of you guys together under one platform and tell you about the film. DBP really does not have the wherewithal to completely lay out the whole production and the financial and the PR machinery for Titli to have a smooth run at Cannes. YRF does. When our sales reps see that this small film comes to them from a co-producer who is also the producer of the biggest film of Cannes, which is opening the film festival, then they have a little more respect for us. This is the synergy where we win, because each one of us is taking a strength and from each other and feeding off each other, and I think that's good for Indian cinema. This is the first of its kind. Nobody expected that this would happen, but I'm hoping that this would become the norm. I know that whatever film YRF produces stands behind it. It never lets a child sink. There are good films, there are bad films, there are average films. But a producer is always good or bad. A producer may make a good film or a bad film or an average film. But a producer's inherent quality to stand behind a film, no matter what, is very important. And that is what I respect of YRF, that it stands behind what it says. Another thing that I've noticed is that YRF we are probably 100th the size of YRF. We also love the business of making films. I may produce Titli today, I may produce Detective Byomkesh Bokshi tomorrow, and I may produce a slapstick comedy 3 years from now if it takes my fancy. But the fact is that I love the business and I love the process of making films. And same for all of us here. I think that's what brings us together.
The film is set now. It's set in today. And actually it deals with multiple themes. Patriarchy just happens to be one of the strong sort of notes that it hits on. But it's as much a film about family and about the circularity that travels within a family, about the images that travel within a family, how the more we try to escape this one strong image in our family and try to get away physically, the more we actually distance ourselves physically, the more we obsess with increasing that distance, the more we find that person is deep-rooted within us much more, and how we realize years later that we've almost turned into that same person. So that's one of the central themes of the film. And then there's the patriarchy. There's obviously we are as a society probably going through that phase of change where the roles of men and women are changing, and the Indian man probably is today struggling against it a little bit, trying to redefine that role and trying to come to grips with where he stands, or how to grip this whole thing. So it's about, ultimately we are talking about 4 men in a house suddenly put in front of a woman, a new woman inside that house. So yes, their behavior to that girl becomes a part of the equation naturally, but it's not something, I guess what I'm saying is, I'm not trying to make a comment on patriarchy. The film is not me trying to tell you something about patriarchy. It's just a story that unfolds with these characters, and they behave in certain ways with each other, which all of us behave in. We have the same patterns, and you just witness this strange, interesting story. And I guess I would like people to make whatever they want to make out of it. So I wouldn't want to bracket it as just a film about patriarchy. No, I think I'd be giving myself just a little bit too much importance if I said I made a lot of conscious decisions. Truth is, it's an honest sort of document of of our times. It's personal in many ways. It's lived in many ways. And obviously the lived has been a dive boat, and we've moved forward then and fictionalized it and found another story altogether, me and Sharath, as we've gone through the process of discovering this screen. Yes, I mean, as I just said, it's about 4 men. The choice of those 4 men Again, not conscious. Just to answer your question, not conscious. It probably comes out of. No, it's not autobiographical. It's actually something that Dibakar, you coined an auto story. It's not autobiographical. It's auto story. As you said that. So that's I think that's an interesting term because it starts, as I said, the dive board is certain personal experiences. Growing up in my house as a teenager, I mean my relationship with my own father. It starts from there, but we wrote the script for a couple of years, me and Sharat, and a lot has, it has moved forward and it has found itself in those 2 years. We've dug a lot and we've questioned what we were writing a lot. And initially, what we were writing was quite crappy. It was quite bad, and it took us a lot of fighting and a lot of rigor to go back and say, no, this is not there yet. This is not there yet. We need to find more answers. And I think as we've dug and as we found those answers, the film has become an animal of its own. It's a screenplay which is much more than just one personal life. And that's why I think that universality in the screenplay is connecting with a lot of people. So I think that the rigor of the screenplay is sort of showing through. So yeah,
he's right here. I didn't know that he was going to be here. So please stand up and be counted. He worked for 2 years with Kanu on the script, and he suffered everything that we suffered. So yeah. That's the man behind the screenplay of it. So when you ask me that 20 years from now, another film, there's nothing else That's the $1 million question that YRF, DBP and Guneet, we will figure out. Our first aim is to give Titli the full share of spotlight in Cannes. I mean, in the ways and means that Guneet just about touched upon. It's far more than what she's saying. And then we have a plan of taking Titli to further festivals. Guneet will take you through it. And those festivals will determine what are the world markets that are opening up for Titli. Once that process is done and once we have secured a fair share of the world market, hopefully, then we will discuss and try and see how best we can synchronize the Indian release. But more about that from the expert.
And it will also be termed as the world festival premiere of the film. It will also be the European festival premiere. After this, in a short while, we will have a really we will have an American festival premiere. And once we cover these two massive continents with Titli, it will spread out to a lot of more festivals around the world. That will give it a chance for a lot of distributors and cinema lovers from around the world to see it and bring that out. And India release will be in sync with various territory release. And this is a journey that you have to take for the next 3 to 4 months for us to come to a date across the world.
As I said earlier, it's a film that has several themes that it's working on. Patriarchy is just one of them. I think the strongest point of the film is that it's a film about family. All of us have families, whether it's a guy sitting in Japan or it's a guy sitting in Malaysia or in Iceland. Everybody has had a family. Everybody has lived through the close relationships or the closest relationships that the film is talking about. So it's got a bunch of characters who are behaving, talking, looking, not speaking to each other in ways that all of us have done. And I think that is the strongest point of the film. It's talking about people that all of us feel like we know very intimately. That said, that being the central theme, it's then talking about a lot of other things. One being patriarchy, which will connect it to various audiences, around the world. For some, patriarchy might be a stronger theme to latch onto. For another person, they might find, the relationship between the boy and girl the most interesting thing to latch onto. That might become their mirror to see the film through. But I think the real central universality of the film lies in the fact that it's about a family of 5 people trying to coexist or trying to negotiate this world that they've created.
Adi and I were in talks to do this YRF DBP co-production, the final draft or the middle draft of Titli was there, and for me to be absolutely sure that I was going to... I spoke to Adi and we were talking about our slate. I said that there's this film that I'm on fire about and I want to produce it before I produce anything else, including my own film. And that is when we decided that we would start the YRF DBP slate with something as small yet as exceptional and a kind of an outlier like Titli, because it would be a new thing for both of us. And that's how the excitement started. This is not common knowledge, but the script of Titli was known already. It had already found a name for itself. It was quite, everybody was talking about it within the industry, those who knew. Titli was also a part of the NFDC Script Lab, which is a unique product where promising screenplay ideas compete for an extended 3 weeks, 2 weeks workshop, an extended couple of months workshop, where that script is guided by various guides through various stages of completion, so that it can explore to the fullest extent its theme. And by the time the NFDC Script Lab finished, by the time Titli as a script was known to a few of the Bombay film industry, we all knew that we had pretty much of a golden sort of, product in hand. And Titli as a screenplay was already known amongst the people who know of the public domain, but amongst the enthusiasts and that's how Adi had also heard about it. So when I spoke to him about Titli, he had already kind of read a draft of it, he already knew about it, and that's how it started. As I'm saying again and again, Titli found its own life. Nobody had to do anything for Titli to be selected into NFDC Script Lab. Nobody had to do anything for Titli's screenplay to be noticed by people. Nobody had to do anything for Titli to be selected by Cannes Film Festival. They came, they saw the rough cut and they said they wanted it. So Titli has found its own life, and I'm sure it would have found the same life without DBP and YRF. And I think that's the best strength that you can give to a film, that it can walk on its two legs.
The score is by Karan Gaur, there are no songs per se in the film, so it's a background score that you have to hear, and it sort of sticks with you. That's my opinion, but you have to hear the score, and there are 5 principal characters in the film. There are the 3 brothers, Vikram, Bawla and Titli. Vikram is played by Ranveer Shori, Bawla is played by Amit Seal, Titli is played by Shashank Arora. It's a debut for him. And then there's the character of Neelu, who Titli marries in the film. That's played by Shivani Raghuvanshi. That's again a debut. And then there's the character of the father, and that's played by Lalit Behel, and that again is a debut. So out of the 5 principals, 3 are a debut.
Patriarchal unit in the film is also Kanu's father. And he apparently was cast for a wonderful cardiac surgery scar on his chest, and we didn't have to spend money for makeup. I'm just kidding. He has the scar that really works for the film, but Kanu's father is an actor and a producer of plays, theatre and television in Delhi, and Kanu kind of forced him into acting as the father, and I think it's a coup. It affects you in the way that you didn't imagine it would affect you. Let me warn you, Titli is a film, and I'm being unashamed here, Titli is a film, no matter whether you like it or not like it, Titli is a film that will leave you affected for a long time. So, it's something to grapple with. It's something to negotiate with, and that's what the cast stands for. I also think it's Ranveer Shori's career best performance. His career best performance, I've said it on record, you can quote me. It is Ranveer Shori's career best performance. He's topped Khosla Ka Ghosla. I'm very proud to say. And I'm also very personally proud that a fine actor like Amit Seal, whose face I showed probably for about 3 minutes in all of Love, Sex or Dhokha. He was a prime protagonist in Love, Sex or Dhokha. But because he was carrying the Sting camera, poor guy's face was never seen, but his presence was felt throughout. So Amit Seal is seen and a fine actor, and you can see what a tremendous actor he is. and what a tremendous support he gives to the film. And it is one of the best acted films that I've seen after a long, long time, where you are not even aware that the actors are acting. But this is the film enthusiast in me talking. A lot of the credit, along with Kanu, goes to Atul Mongia, the associate director of the film, who also was the casting director and the workshop director of Love, Sex or Dhokha. So Atul Mongia is another person to watch out for, because he's contributed in many unsaid ways to many, many films like Love, Sex or Dhokha and Titli, with a tremendous cast and a tremendous workshop, a preparation for the actors, which gives the director what he needs. बिल्कुल ही नहीं है, कान एक मार्केट भी है. कान हम इसलिए जा रहे हैं और शौक से, क्योंकि एक तो कान में सिलेक्ट हुए हैं, लेकिन कान में तितली के लिए इंटरनेशनल ऑडियंस और मार्केट के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा दरवाज़ा है जो खुल जाता है. इंटरनेशनल प्रोड्यूसर्स और डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स कान में इसीलिए आते हैं ताकि उनको कनु बहल जैसी नई आवाज़ें, नए डायरेक्टर्स मिलें, जिन्हें वो इंटरनेशनल दर्शकों के सामने. और इसके लिए हमने हाथ में लाया गुनीत मोंगा, जो अनुराग कश्यप के साथ उन्होंने बहुत सारी फिल्मों को भारत से बाहर फेस्टिवल्स में, मतलब उनको जन्म दिया है, वो माँ है उन फिल्मों की. इसीलिए हमने गुनीत से सबसे पहले बात की और हमने कहा कि जिस तरह से आप कान में फिल्मों को प्रेजेंट कर सकते हैं, हम शायद उतना नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि हम इंडियन प्रोड्यूसर्स हैं, हमको बाहर का एक्सपीरियंस उतना अच्छा नहीं है, मुझे तो उतना अच्छा नहीं. और इसलिए सिक्या एंटरटेनमेंट केम ऑन बोर्ड एज कंसल्टेंट्स फॉर द इंटरनेशनल सेल्स एंड मार्केटिंग ऑफ द फिल्म. इस मुकाम पे खड़े हैं कि फिल्म अभी कान में गई भी नहीं है, और उससे पहले ही गुनीत हमारे लिए इंटरनेशनल सेल्स रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स उन्होंने हमारी फिल्म को दिलवा दिए हैं, जो खुद उस फिल्म की पैरवी कान में करेंगे. वो इंटरनेशनल सेल्स एजेंट्स पूरे वर्ल्ड के सबसे बड़े और सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट सेल्स एजेंट्स में से हैं, जो फिल्म को वहाँ पे पब्लिसाइज करेंगे, फिल्म को वहाँ पे इंडस्ट्री स्क्रीनिंग्स में ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोगों को दिखाएंगे, ताकि तितली वहाँ पे बस फेस्टिवल के 2 दिन प्ले करके वापस ना आए. तितली को इंटरनेशनल ऑडियंस के मुखातिब करने का जितना भी चांस हो, हम उस फिल्म को दे सकते हैं. आई थिंक गुनीत शुड टॉक अबाउट इट मोर देन आई शुड.
मैं बस एक थोड़ा सा एक चीज़ कहना चाहती हूँ जो मेरे साथ आज भी और ज़िंदगी भर रहेगी. आज से 1 साल पहले दिबाकर टोल्ड मी अबाउट तितली एंड ऑल ही सेड, मैं शायद ज़िंदगी में पता नहीं कितनी फिल्में बनाऊंगा, बट जो भी मैं फिल्म बनाऊंगा ना, आई जस्ट वांट कि वो सबसे अच्छी फिल्म हो, और उसके बाद अगर मैं ना रहूं तो आई विल बी एट पीस कि मैंने वो पिक्चर प्रोड्यूस की. सो उतनी शिद्दत से एंड उतनी मेहनत से when I saw तितली in October November, and I have to say कि जो भी मेरा वजूद है और जो भी मुझे नॉलेज है, दिस इज़ बाय फार द बेस्ट फिल्म दैट आई हैव सीन, एंड आई एम इन एब्सोल्यूट ऑ. सो इट्स completely my pleasure to do this and to introduce Titli in Cannes to our partners, to people who I have met over the last 5-6 years. हम लोग वहाँ पिछले 3 साल से मैं फिल्म्स के साथ वहाँ जा रही हूँ, एंड स्लोली हमने एक मार्केट इंडियन फिल्म्स के लिए खड़ी की है, एंड वो इंडियन लैंग्वेज फिल्म्स हैं. हम पूरी दुनिया में वी आर ऑल अंडर वन कैटेगरी विच इज़ फॉरेन लैंग्वेज फिल्म्स. इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज के बाहर हम लोग सब फॉरेन लैंग्वेज हैं, चाहे वो चाइनीज़ फिल्म है, कोरियन फिल्म है, इटालियन, ईरानियन, एनी फिल्म, सिंगापुर फिल्म, और इंडियन फिल्म, हिंदी लैंग्वेज फिल्म. सो हम लोग सब फॉरेन लैंग्वेज कैटेगरी में हैं, एंड हम लोग काफ़ी सारे हैं, एंड हम लोग बहुत एंड समवेयर इंटरनेशनली foreign film community is regarded as filmmakers who value the art of filmmaking. मतलब हम लोग बहुत ज़्यादा competition है, and for worldwide, and out of that Titli is in the main section of Cannes, and हमारे partners हैं West End Films from UK and XYZ from US, XYZ Films. इन दोनों ने बहुत सालों से बहुत अच्छा काम किया है बाकी दुनिया में. दे आर रिप्रेजेंटिंग तितली इन द वे, एंड इट वाज एक्चुअली आवर ड्रीम ऑफ ऑल आवर इंडिपेंडेंट फिल्म मेकर्स ड्रीम टू हैव अ फिल्म represented by a big studio, a big producer in India, and go to Titli and go to Cannes in the main section and be represented by the best in the world. अब आगे क्या होगा वो हमें एक और 10 दिन के बाद पता चलेगा. In terms of going there and in terms of showing the film, I think Dibakar and Yash Raj have left no stone unturned, and it is phenomenal how Titli is represented there. In fact, already काफ़ी publications में Titli is amongst the top 10 films to see in the entire Cannes, and it's a very big deal that we are there amongst the whole world. So the competition is not within India or within peers from here. It is जिन मास्टर्स की फिल्में देखकर हम देख कर यहाँ तक आए हैं, उन्हीं के साथ Kanu's film is in Titli, which is what is phenomenal.